The beautiful scenes there. I love the lights and the people. Looks so pretty. I want to see all of China, man. I just want to see absolutely everything I can possibly see. I don't even know where that is.
Yeah, Xi'an actually. It's a beautiful place where WWE is, and when they had their grand opening, it was great. It was actually a little bit too much.
Yeah.
A little bit. I don't know how much money they blew on that one, but they definitely threw cash at it.
Yeah, enough to make you go, oh damn.
Yeah, yeah, fireworks and all that.
I am BP, of course, joined again by Raz. We are back as quick as we were gone to bring you our second series of the day. It's the games from pick ban from game 1. Just bring me through a couple of these. We see the Olaf again. We see Mordekaiser. We actually see the Rumble as well. So Rumble possibly in the mid lane coming into this.
Yeah, let's just get right to it. You know, whenever we see pick and ban here, we just want to see action, especially trying to catch up to the action, because remember, this game started 54 minutes ago. Did hear that there was a pause in game state, so we will just catch up to you. You guys calm down there, just so we can see it happen. But xiye on the Qiyana is all that I care about, all right? Whenever we see Qiyana around the world, we just sit down and wait.
We'll have to see exactly how the game unfolded up until that point. If you're wondering, there was a slight rune issue with Guardians. They're trying to figure that one out. So we're hoping we can catch up as quick as we possibly can before this one comes over. But that stadium sounds huge. It just sounds as there's a lot more people there than there was in the other stadium.
I love Xi'an because there is, actually.
Yeah.
900 people, that's the capacity crowd that they have.
Ooh.
It's a humongous area.
Why can't they kill that word? There we
go.
go.
There we go. Gotta
was
wait
very
time. Dramatic.
confused.
Who takes the gold? Who
Yeah.
gets the experience? It going on towards the mid laner is actually really impactful. Gets the level 2 1 minion faster than the Qiyana. You mean he already is going to get that point because he's rumbled, but still.
Little game of inches as such. So we have a look at the runes. You can see the most likely the problematic Com Kench on missing, who was our support of the week last week. Very, very strong player. Had a fantastic series or two. And definitely looking to continue that streak. As we said, WE, that's the first step for them to really try and lock in that they are playoff contenders.
Yeah, they're on a pretty damn good 2-series winning streak at the moment. So being able to see WE once again make that rise is great. I mean, you definitely need to see it happen for players like Mystic and xiye, who have been all-stars for so long now. Been on the greatest stage of them all, at Worlds, in semifinals, have found themselves in MSI. They're a team that, or at least those two players, have been together for so long and have been so successful. Them missing playoff is a damn shame.
We're seeing a resurgence of Ashe as well. Mystic picking it up here for WE, and it's definitely something that's seen as more utility because you go for something a lot more aggressive in your solo lanes. And I just wanted to try and break it down as like, why are we just seeing Ashe all of a sudden now?
Simply because, honestly, after the change, reducing the cooldown towards volley, making it 5 seconds really just makes it, especially since it was the first thing you ranked, so being able to hit it full rank at level 9 is pretty damn easy. Makes it so lane priority is far easier. In fact, people are comboing it alongside Comet. We're not seeing it in this game, so that's actually a change that Mystic has opted towards more lethal tempo there. But made it so it's easier to actually not only have shove, but have greater presence in the lane. Also, we were seeing a little bit more anyways before that change, just because Ashe Tom Kench was a great duo, sets up for a lot of nice fights. So you like to see at least a little bit more love coming towards the champions.
Absolutely. Diversity is key to any league. Always good to see, you know, several different compositions being able to work in the same meta. Otherwise it gets stale and everyone on Reddit gets angry.
Yeah. I mean, we're already having that problem with the Corki Azir handshake. But this game is already, you know, making us happier and happier.
Yeah.
By the
cannot remember if they were banned, but hopefully they were. If not, even better. As we see now both junglers into this mid lane. We are going to see a little bit of a trade. Ignite goes down. Flash for flash. Does not hit the undertow. And already we're seeing a little bit more positive change for Kuro.
Yeah, I was initially worried about that because Kuro ended up losing a shield before the gank came through. So I thought that was just going to be an easy pickup coming in from, you know, the Qiyana and Sejuani, but just great timing from Meteor. In fact, even flashes to see if he can get the slow and added chase up on towards xiye.
And xiye very respectful to that Olaf as well. You know, even if you flash after the undertow is hit, that extra little bit of slow can make it so he can catch up, pick up his axe, and go again. So I like the idea from it. As we wait to see now Very slow early game from both of these teams.
Yeah, thankfully, actually we could have just got drop shipped 8 minutes in, just because you get those moments. Some games are incredibly impactful. You get drop shipped. I had those moments in 2018, and the game is ending. You're like, oh, didn't see that one coming.
That wasn't what I was expecting, but unfortunately not this one.
Yep.
Lot slower pace, lot more controlled, if you like.
And right now, this is when you can start focusing on what I felt are great lane matchups here by BLG. Being able to see Kuro and Jinjiao consistently have shove in lanes. And for Kuro in particular, a player that actually brought the Qiyana into the league, was the one to debut into the LPL. Understanding the issues that champion does still have, requiring the Tiamat to be able to at least contest the shove in the lane matchup, picks the Rumble to allow him to be able to get control, rotate alongside the Olaf. The early games should be great for BLG, so gotta love to see it, especially since we did see the Rumble a few times. Particularly I remember it seeing on Bjergsen in North America. Gets a lot of love.
Xiaohu most recently as well in
That's
yesterday's games, able to thoroughly outplay the side of Victory 5 with it. And has a lot of opportunities to kind of turn the tides of fights. We've seen it a little bit more. And
Oh,
hello.
Doesn't have his axe, so he's just going to have to take that thumbs up, sitting down.
Oh, they're trying to collapse now onto this Sejuani. Successful invade. Don't want to really try and go for this, as they did recognize that the Olaf has got Ragnarok.
But this is what we need to see out of Olaf comps. Whenever we talk about Olaf, the meme around it, and why it's unsuccessful, like mostly globally, it's because teams oftentimes don't give it the love through having shoving mid lane or having a lane to work alongside it. If you're having losing lanes and an Olaf, he's useless. He can't accomplish anything. But if you have something you can rotate around, take advantage of the jungle matchup, that's what he's made for, and being able to find that experience advantage that he now has is a big plus.
Very, very quiet in this early game. Apart from that one gank in the mid lane, nothing else too crazy to come out. Ignite will be available for both mid laners very, very shortly. However, Kuro does have the flash. But again, I think both teams are very, very happy just farming this up, maybe getting up to that 1-2 item spikes and, not having to deal with any kind of craziness.
If there's anything that will speed the game up, it's going to be the Dragon. The fact that Team WE far more often, if we're just talking about a Zir and Corki handshake, this is just team fight handshakes.
Oh.
Let's see if they come test it. They're looking for it.
They just got the back off as we come in. They're stolen by Qiyana, and here comes WE with the team fight damage. ADD trying to get something off on the backside, but this is just not working out at all for the side of BLG. WE come out trumps. As I say that, though, double kill to the Mordekaiser, but he will be chased down and away from this fight. Ends up being a 2-for-3 trade in favor of WE.
That Qiyana went mad. xiye, not only his ultimate's done coming through, I want to see how many members he actually got. I don't know if he actually got anyone in particular, but the steal on the Dragon, the fight to follow up, the Kennen ultimate to take the fold.
I think he got the Sejuani, and that was the only person he needed to get.
Love to see this one once more, because timing is going to be crucial. The TP coming in, they just allowed that control ward to come in unperturbed. Great ultimate from both members, Post and xiye, to be able to take this fight.
Yeah, unfortunately for the Olaf, not able to get the smite down despite having the Ragnarok.
Let's not go too far. Yeah, I don't want to see.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't want to see the Mordekaiser just bonking people.
Yeah, at least he got 2 kills off of it. So if we're just talking about any wins there for BLG, ADD is pretty big now.
Yeah. It was actually a 4-for-2 as well. Actually, excuse me.
Yeah, the fact that he was able to get the kill on both the Kennen, a low HP Kennen, and the Tahm Kench that was just waiting on cooldowns to try and help him. Good play from ADD to get something out of that.
They do lose the Mountain Drake, though, so definitely a little bit more of a potential for the WE side to kind of come out on top of that as well as the fight.
Now, yeah, I was about to say, I was told that this is when the pause happens. So now, welcome back to reality.
Snap back to reality.
Now, this is, I've actually had 2 games where you're like, I want to get drop shipped in. I just want to be a part of the action, right? I want to go on live. I don't want to see it from the very beginning. But then oftentimes you hear producer tell you, actually, you're mad. Quiet down. I can see into the future. And, you'll be fine for the next 8 minutes. And so we're back into it. And I heard, just so you guys all know, it was an issue with the Keystone Guardian. So missing reported that, issues with that keystone for himself. And we'll see what the solution ended up being.
And we'll hopefully get an update as to when they are back, if they are even back in game. That's the other question as we start to figure it out. But right now, Team WE, they're going to be pretty happy as of right now, given the fact that they just picked up the Dragon, they just picked up 4 kills,
yes.
so a lot of gold. A little bit salty about the Mordekaiser picking 2 off the back end, but not too, to take away from their, big victory.
Yeah, and funny enough, just to, oh my God, what do you even need those for? Oh, he's delivering it.
He's just sending it to everybody.
xiye. Yeah, dry him off. Anyways, just back to my point. Actually, I was wondering what the hell he was doing with those. Anyways, for Team WE as a squad, since losing Condi, I felt as though this team would be a lot different in how they would play the game. How they would decide to play it out would be a lot faster, especially since as a player he tended to take a lot of the pressure coming in from. Take a lot of resources, He was a lot more invade heavy, got a lot of resources coming in from xiye, and, his dual lane as well. Lose him, come in new players, beishang a lot more active, but even with the activity that he has, it's not like the rest of the team's like, yeah, we're an early game team now. That's actually just not true. He's just the bridge. He's just saying, all right, I'm playing this early game champion so you can farm up perfectly to get to your game state. And while you look at the composition from Team WE and say, well, they actually have a lot of early game in the Kiana and all that, they are willing to play safe, play back, not have the shove-in lanes, wait for their opportunity to take that fight. That was a great example of the Dragon. So, they didn't need to be there for the Dragon, but seeing that they could contest for it in that fight, they played it excellently. So good job from Team WE. Now I'm just going to have to look at Missing and say, you better fix that issue that you have currently with Guardian.
I've been told by production.
What's the solution?
Not been fixed as of yet.
Oh!
So they are still out of game as of this moment. And to bear in mind, people, this game started an hour ago. So they got 8 minutes of gameplay, and then unfortunately they've been sat on stage, unable to speak of the game due to rules, waiting for a solution.
The worst thing, too, is that for a Tom Kench to tell him that he can't take Guardian, if you were to remake this game, just putting that out there, you ain't picking Tom Kench. I'm telling you right now. If you're telling me not to play Guardian, yeah, suddenly changes a few things.
Yeah, that team comp looks very different for both sides. Tom Kench is out of there. Braum is out of there. You got a lot of, a lot of issues to kind of all of a sudden rethink on. And it's unfortunate. Obviously, it's not the ideal situation for anything like that. But we'll have to wait and see. Is there even a solution to this?
That's going to be fun. It's one of those moments. I've been through. I've actually done too much story time, but we've had a lot of time today, actually. So
yeah,
that's fair enough.
We've had a fair bit of time.
Yeah, but I remember 2018 spring, we just had pauses every day. There was one patch in particular. This was that's actually 2018 summer, when we went to Gauntlet, and there was actually just a long pause every game, and there's connectivity. That happens. It feels bad. It usually does get resolved through being able to get back to the moment before that bug or issue occurs. Problem here is it's Keystone. That's hard to ever resolve. And
I think a remake, if they cannot resolve it, is definitely on the cards, because you can't really just change that out.
Yeah, so of course with it being such a long pause, and thankfully this is how we get back live. We've rigged the system.
Yep.
Whenever we have...
It's all scripted.
Yeah, 1 hour pause, 30-minute pauses, I think. You just send in your hacker, get him over there.
Your hacker man, get him in. Just be like, all right, guys, the first series went a bit long. We need you guys to have an issue.
You got to help out the English broadcast.
Can you keep us going till 8:15? That'd be great.
Yeah, so that's going to be helpful. I really do hope for WE's sake, because this was an issue that WE posed, but remember, they're the team that, especially after that last fight, they're banking. They can just say, okay, well, I don't need this keystone, and we'll still win. I enjoyed how we're seeing Kiana get played out there, especially through that Dragon fight. My favorite thing with the ultimate is to be able to lure people into, if you're pressing for blue buff or red buff steal, right? And you're really only doing it just so Kiana can get the best ult possible. That stuff is fun. Yeah. That's what you want to be able to see happening. Those longer fights too around Dragon and Baron, those huge playmaking stuns like that, the damage that comes immediately afterwards, pretty damn stunning, and I want to see what xiye can do and hopefully be able to pick up an MVP off this performance if the game completes itself. If this
I
is
was
the game,
just about to say, this is, of course, they were, of course, WE, I think they said we missing, and I was just like, what? I was like, it literally just threw me off completely. It's like WE have reported an in-game issue. Of course, they are trying to fix it. But I want to get your opinion on Qiyana. We've seen some very mixed results across the world.
Yeah.
We've seen some absolute gods, and then we've seen, like yesterday, where they hit the little pixel rock in the middle of the base and it just kind of does a little circle.
Yeah.
So I want to know what you think of the champion, where she fits in terms of the meta.
I think she is a very strong AD mid, especially with so many AP top laners available. I think she fits in a lot of NAP bot lanes. Also, just talking about, you know, the Kai'Sa and Ezreal that just also just allow an AD mid to thrive. And also, I just think that while it's still like, I want to say it's a high skill cap champion when she goes for all ins. It's pretty easy just around that through laning phase to be able to go QWQ and be able to have non-committal skirmishes. But in major team fights, man, your all-ins are crucial. It reminds me of like essentially how talent ends up playing fights. So how she fits in the meta, she's definitely strong. And with a team that really plays well around that Qiyana, she is objectively a strong champion. The only issue is that if you're with a team that doesn't necessarily play through mid, try to just kind of give them the champion and say, you do you, and we don't necessarily have any shove in our composition, then you don't dictate where the fight ends up happening. Your ultimate is essentially the make or break on your champion in team fights. So that's the only caveat in saying open team fights around mid lane where she can't use her ulti in a proper space. Then it's like, wow, I don't know how to actually fight here. That's the only thing, is that she's inconsistent where she doesn't dictate the flow, but in the good hands, like for instance, Team WE that plays around their mid lane. Same thing actually for BLG that introduced the champion here in the LPL that plays around Kuro. These are excellent Qiyana teams.
I'm curious to see how she'll develop as well and how teams will prioritize her or not, as the case may go. But as of right now, she's definitely strong, and I just wish she wouldn't be in my solo queue games at the moment, just because.
Good or bad?
They're just bad.
Yeah.
I find, like you just said, she's a very situational champion. She has very much kind of key openings that she needs to capitalize on. If she doesn't, then it's kind of a bad time. Unfortunately, when you're gold 2, like me, players don't really know when those openings are.
Yeah, I think the big things about Qiyana as a champion is that she has a pretty high skill cap around like learning all of the nuances around her, right? And then on top of that, another thing as well is just more so, you know, team coordination around that. For any mid laner out there that just picks Qiyana and doesn't have control of her jungler, or doesn't have control of really like, you know, support and how to get out of lane, and picks, there are a lot of bad lane matchups as well. Bruisers are a consistent force, which makes it an issue of picking her up in top lane half the times. Like, there are a lot of situations in which she is not the champion. We're back on the field.
Woo! Oh, I'm so happy that we didn't have to do a remake. And there you go. We didn't have to go through a 40-minute pause. We just had a quick 5-6 minute one. Perfection. Thank you again, of course, to our production for keeping us in the loop.
I told my hacker it's fine. You can resume.
Oh, is that what you did? You just like went down to your laptop and just went quick. It's like, cool, we're caught up. Welcome back.
Live, and I don't want to have too long of a talk. Spare me. That's what I told him.
But we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for sticking with us during the technical issues. Hopefully everything is sorted for the rest of the series. And like you said, we're back in. WE sitting happy with a nice 1,000 gold lead just over. And this Olaf pick, not been super impactful as of yet, but it is still very early on in this game.
This is what I want to see now, because zooming in on the junglers, they're going to be what gets you back into the game or behind, because the issue is for an Olaf, especially now, like firmly behind in pace to the Sejuani. Sejuani's just going to stick around mid. Like, she has, you know, play around Qiyana. Qiyana can help out with the passive stacking on the champion, and suddenly Kuro is vulnerable to skirmishes, where beforehand always had Olaf in his back pocket. So that could change the tides of how the 2v2 ends up going.
We shall see how the 2v2 does develop. Tamkench, of course, very safe in his own right. As we see, the Olaf now sees exactly what's going on here, and I feel like everyone's just going to have to get out of dodge right now. There's still a lot of damage, and ooh, forced to burn the flash, but here comes the red carpet. Rumble instantly recognizing what he needed to do, and that's not the first time we've seen an Olaf flash over a wall for a kill.
Yeah, feels bad for the Qiyana to miss her W over the wall. I still think she would have died still, but it would have been far harder to be able to pick up that kill. So I thought you were fine. Yeah, you're going to have to put in some work on that one. But that sucks. Clean and simple.
Yep, messes up the W, unfortunately forced the flash, and by that point the Rumble ultimate comes down. No one really going to be able to stop or to get away from that. I don't really see much of this Sejuani coming into this Rift Herald. They're going to have to concede it, and obviously concede the pressure that comes with it.
It's one of those moments where it's as simple as it was looking good until it wasn't.
Like, they were winning until they lost.
Like Sejuani and the Qiyana were actually doing such a great job, you know, regaining control through mid, getting control up topside river, and then they get picked out by Meteor, Kuro, and ADD, who was collapsing on them.
We are looking towards this bot side. Sejuani going to be forced to Arctic Assault over the wall. Need to be a bit careful as well. Like, you know, the Rumble can do a fair stick of damage, as we see. Ooh.
Okay, all right, Jinjiao. You need to evacuate yourself from the vicinity.
I think everyone needs to evacuate right now.
All right, we all need to leave.
Much damage. They have to force out control out the train of corruption.
Look at the minimap too. Olaf just coming in to give in some help. At first he was like, I'm going to place this Rift Herald mid. And then he starts hearing the cries of his AD carry, and he's like, well, I'm going to just put a hold to that.
He's got time. They took the Rift Herald fairly early on in its life.
Wait, they're TPing back bot side, in fact. It seems like a skirmish is about to occur. No, it seems like they immediately back away.
Now they had vision on the Olaf, who does, of course, drop down the Rift Herald like you suspected. Try to get some more gold into the BLG bot lane hand, and they've got 4 people hovering down here. TP just about to come up for ADD. TP going to be responded to by the Ashe and the Kennen, you would imagine. Here comes one. They don't lose the turret, they lose a lot of things, but there is the Kennen with the big flank. This could be absolutely massive. There's just no vision. The Glacial Prison is popped down, as is the Slicing Maelstrom, and they are tearing through this BLG side. You have got the Mordekaiser, but he's only able to throw someone into the Death Realm. They're going to be able to get him as soon as he comes back up. There he is. He flashes. He uses Proto Belt. He will be able to get out just barely. He needs to be very careful as Ashe Mystic takes him down. WE taking everything from that fight.
I mean, BLG played as well as they could to get out of that Kennen ultimate. Still, how, you know, ADD ended up falling to that. That hurts. WE being able to find that kill. I was a little bit concerned when the TP came onto the bot lane outer turret. I was like, you're not going to be able to like do too much. They're just trying to get the gold. Fully committing to get the fight, and they end up picking up a big win on that.
Get some more turret plates, get the second Mountain Drake, and we're going to see a third one as well. Fantastic awareness there from Poss, and he's able to just get the TP in. There's a great ward for him, and BLG had no idea.
I mean, that would have just been fine from BLG simply if ADD didn't try to just clear a wave with his Q. I mean, you have your team there for that. You literally have Varus just sitting in the air. I mean, that hurts because I was there with you. The fact that WE got that kind of a flank, crazy. And they still would have been able to get the dragon too. Just taking a look at that, that hits everything you want to see from Team WE. Post just being able to find it there. It should have resulted into more kills just based off of this alone.
Wow.
The XinMo still finds a way to get out was the first thing. And then ADD actually buys a lot of time for himself. This is where the question mark comes in. This is when you start pinging him. Because he gets out, and then what does he do? As a result, walks up forward, tries to queue up the wave. Please stop it. That's just literally just a please stop it moment.
You gotta give props as well to WE, just CC training onto the Varus right there. Jinjiao was not able to move. He literally got hit by the Glacial Prison into the shove from Qiyana, display supreme display of talent, and then immediately onto the Slicing Maelstrom. I'm pretty sure if we saw a team fight damage grab, he would have 0.
Yeah, couldn't do much at all there. Take a look at this.
Here we go, flash in, there's the Ignite as well. They're going to try and get the ultimate, but they will potentially be able to trade. No, a lot of respect being put down to this Olaf. Sejuani does not want to trade a 1 for 2, and just ends up being a 1 for none.
Yeah, xiye still have splash on that one. Take a look at this.
Oh, they do get the Mystic down, and there's a snipe through the heart of the WE bot lane. Double kill for Varus, and they're right back on track.
So much is happening at the same time. Like, xiye didn't have flash to be able to protect himself. Now will have for the next fight. But the fact that that 2v2 ends up happening on the bot side where Jinjiao and XinMo are getting bullied the entire early laning phase, like they've been having a tough time this game, and then is able to come back on that one. I mean, at least they're doing a great job. Let's see what ends up happening here. Beishang's in the wrong place.
Yeah, forced to flash away. There was no Ragnarok from the Olaf, but they will sacrifice the bottom lane turret, first turret of the game going down. And I feel like the pause just put the go buttons on everybody. They got super impatient. They were like, we need to go home in the next 4 hours, so we need to make this best of 3 super quick. Let's just all go ham.
You know what's really funny is that, like, just before that moment, ultimately a lot of these guys are we're looking towards that level 6 mark. Like, across the board, they all just benefit. So when we got to that point, the dragon fight started, and you're like, great, we're starting to get some, action here. And the pause came through. That's when the frustration starts to build. It's when Missing is like, all right, guys, we need to fight. By the way, if you guys haven't seen the mic checks, the loudest person on the planet is Missing.
Yes.
He just like, well, everyone else is calm, and Post is just saying, you know what, just
blowing up eardrums.
Yeah. Missing is literally just destroying your eardrums. You're right. So if we're talking about whenever fights end up occurring, it's Missing that's commanding those calls very easily, very handily.
See Missing now coming into the mid lane. All 5 people. There's a flank available if they want to go for it. Here we go. There's the enchanted arrow as well as the ultimates all being laid down. So many team fights available. They will trade 1 for 1. No tower taken down. Overall, you got to be feeling good. ADD coming in. They're going to try and take out the AD carry. Or not the AD carry, excuse me, the Tam Kench. He actually ends up being eaten. That just delays him a little bit longer. And he flashes out. Missing survives. And now they're still going in. Kiana goes in, takes out the Varus. But Ash is untouched. Ash can wreak havoc on this fight. And Mystic should be able to clean up BLG. What a fantastic turnaround. Take a bow, Missing.
Wow. Just the chaos that was created from that one ultimate from ADD alone. I didn't think Sejuani would just dive straight in, but it was Olaf that was far too low. And then you get to see, of course, the full committal, the full engage without the Mordekaiser coming through. And you're right, Mystic at the back end of that one, being able to clean up the fight.
It's a great start as well. You see them coming in. They get all the CC and damage down onto the Braum. The Olaf, like you said, super, super low. And it honestly looks like it's just going to be an even trade. But then in comes ADD.
So this is the chaos. Kind of reminds me of the Bar ultimate. Like the whole question of how to be able to take the fight from this point forward. You see Beishang, that is, go forward alongside xiye. And while xiye ends up dying for it, gets 2 people alongside with it. That was a huge play coming in from xiye.
Massive, massive turnaround there from WE. And Missing, you can see why he was considered the best support last week. He's putting in another fantastic display here. They have to stop this Mountain Drake from going down. They do deny the triple mountain. But is there going to be an ensuing fight? Here we go.
Teleport.
There's the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. The teleport is coming in. Slice Formation is available as well. They're all grouped up. They're all here. They flash away. There's the Glacial Fissure just to try and buy time. And it could be a great turnaround as well for BLG. They're looking for it. But a huge Kiana ultimate as she looks towards the back line. She's exhausted though. She only gets 1 for 1. Mystic's trying his best. But ADD is the raid boss of this fight. And they clean up house 4 for 1. And you can see BLG, they're looking for mid lane. Actually, no, they're looking for Baron.
Baron is coming up right now. They're pretty easily going to be able to take this one. These fights keep on coming. It's going to be hard, actually.
Sejuani is still alive. They have very low health bars right now. I don't know if they take this quick enough. They should be able to get it. Sejuani's not close enough, unfortunately.
All right, yeah, this is way too quick for BLG to be able to pick this one up. So, all right, man. Great fights coming in from BLG. Specifically, Cannon was coming in, got buffed.
I was going to say, I'm glad we didn't miss the early game. Like, I'm glad they paused so we could catch up to all this, because an off-spawn Baron is something very rarely seen.
That was the worst time team fight for Team WE to lose. We're just talking about what you could be able to pick up. You're right, if it wasn't the Baron, if it was a little earlier, mid lane, push, take the turret, push the wave and base would be the call. But just take a look at this. The Cannon ultimate coming first gets completely stalled out, gets stunned now. Crazy for him to just not be able to impact the fight. Your eyes were focused on Kiana, rightly so. She goes right in to be able to get the kill on towards Jinjiao. Jinjiao full HP before the fight starts, and he ends up just picking up Kiana on her own. That's the risk with the champion, incredibly squishy, and if you're alone with the AD carry, still incredibly healthy, he's going to be able to get the kill. So Great job from Jinjiao, XinMo to be able to get the fight there.
It looks so good for WE, but I got to give props where it's due. Kuro with a fantastic zoning ultimate. The red carpet goes right down across that little hill, little ramp to go up on top of that section of the jungle. And it just meant that if you go forward or back, you're going to get chunked out. And it just turned around. Now we're looking at an incredibly even game with Baron ticking for another 2 minutes.
Yeah, we've been actually seeing a lot of great Rumble ultimates this game. A lot of the times, whenever you see Rumble come back into the meta, wherever it be, mid lane or top lane, you get to see, you know, enjoy the player and his skill with the champion, what his thought process is and the placement of his ultimate. It reminds me of Acorn when he was on LGD in 2015. He's a fabulous, you know, Rumble player. Looper, actually, when he was on RNG, is just one of the best Rumble ultimates I've seen. ADD's got to get out of this one. He won't be able to.
That's a full glacial combo right there, as here comes Kennen trying to get away from the death realm. Will he be able to survive? I don't know. Yes, he will. Just about, so he will not get the added stats. Still, though, 4v1 and comes out with a 1-for-1. You're pretty damn happy.
That's why everyone hates this champion, ladies and gentlemen. This champion is despicable. You don't have QSS, and why would he pick up QSS? That's what you're going to be dealing with.
And QSS tax could be on the cards for a lot of people. You still, of course, have a lot of CC coming out from the virus as well as the Braum. They get themselves 2 more turrets, 3 more turrets off the back of that as well. Like we talked about it, you went 4-for-1. Everyone was up top. You had no choice but to give up the rest of the map, and they capitalize it. Good work from Bilibili.
They've been able to claw back into this game pretty easily. It's crazy how many of these fights have gone in the favor of BLG based off of, you know, right, the Rumble ultimate coming through, that stuff that they had against the Kennen to begin with when he was coming into that ulti. We're talking, like, we've been seeing and we recognize that Post has to be that guy that finds that key ultimate. But, I mean, if he sees it, then certainly BLG sees it. They've been doing a great job at being able to stop that at all costs.
Now, where is the next move now for WE? BLG will lose that Baron buff in about 10 seconds. Got themselves, for the first time in a while, back into the gold lead.
There we go.
Only about 600 or 800 gold in that, so negligible at best. You can see the QSS picked up there for Mystic. Does not want to get caught out. Let's have a look at this top side. He just buys so much time.
Yeah, we talked about that QSS tax. You're not going to be going for it if you're Post. Post just thought, hey, you know what, maybe I can buy time. Maybe I have the damage for ADD. It's this part where he just sustains right back up with the shield and then heals based off that. You're like, oh, so this is what I have to deal with, right? It's hard for anybody.
The only positive is that, you know, ADD did not kill the Kennen in the Death Realm, therefore did not absorb all of the stats that come with the Kennen. Because that Q could have been a lot harder on top of the Ashe had it done, because there's a lot of AP stacked on top of that Kennen. We got ourselves a game right now. It's incredibly close. Both teams have got their Mountain Drakes. Fair enough, WE have one more than the other, but an Ocean Drake to boot for BLG.
When the, you know, Team WE fans, and there are a lot of them, ask, like, what's the chances of Team WE being able to pick up this win? You know, you get those questions because if you're a fan of the team, a lot of the times you have very little faith in whether they can, especially versus BLG that has been looking good for, you know, the year now. But I look at both of these teams, you recognize that they have very similar styles in how they play, very similar key focuses in the lanes, like, you know, Kuro on the side of BLG for certain, same with xiye. AD carries, Mystic is, you know, you give him the edge, he's the better player. Historically, he's always looked good when the team is, you know, whether they're good or bad. While Jinjiao, I think this has been the year for him. He's had an amazing spring split, and this summer's split he's played just as well. I feel like if we're just talking about how he's able to perform versus Mystic while still be able to favor Mystic, it's not that large by any means. The last ultimate that he had in the last fight, you know, keeping Kennen at bay was incredible, and it's making now Kennen think about how he starts these fights. He can't do it in front of the Varus because, you know, you're looking at the Braum, the ultimate should stop you, number one. You're looking at the Varus, the ultimate will definitely stop you, number two. So think about that bot side fight. It has to be at a flank. There's no other good way.
25 seconds until the Baron respawns onto the map. Still a bit early for it, but both these teams are going to be feeling pretty confident. Let's have a quick look at the items. Qiyana finally getting towards that kind of big damage spark. You know, a lot of, you know, kind of assassination potential if she's able to get onto the right target. Unfortunately, the only right target is that Varus.
And I'm going to bring up an interaction that I don't even know about. And it's going to be a treat to see it in this game. Is if a Kennen ultimate comes through and a Mordekaiser, let's say if he's in a big fight, ends up putting him into the death realm, I would assume that the Kennen ultimate is null and void for the rest of the team.
Correct.
So that's a really fun way to be able to see that in this game, if it does happen.
I would love to see a Kiana ultimate into a Mordekaiser ult. To say that though, Tahm Kench forced the flash. There is the Rumble ultimate. Okay, flash for a big cooldown. But can they do anything knowing that that Rumble ult is down? It only is only about a 70-second cooldown, so they have to act fast if they want to capitalize.
Baron is up, remember. So if we're talking about what BLG could do with the pressure that they have, set up for Baron objective, don't necessarily have to do it. I think they should wait for the next Rumble ultimate to come up. But certainly they have the advantage here.
Mordekaiser has a huge wave bot side if he decides to go for it. That is 20+ minions, and I think WE, they're questioning whether or not they want to go for it. Mordekaiser's been called back, so they're not going to force that in. WE also realized they need to get their lanes in order.
Yeah, I mean, they're really losing it on side lanes. Top lanes being picked up by Kiana, but that creates a window for BLG to push up mid and then go back to the Baron pressure. So, I mean, right now BLG's been playing side lanes well. They've done that all year long in my eyes, where, since Kuro and AD has been coming in with Coach Sim, we've been seeing incredibly smart play. I mean, I really appreciated Coach Sim's work on his previous team on Sunning, and being able to see what he was able to get accomplished on those teams, and now what he's able to do here. I think not only have we been seeing great drafts, but also just nice, slow play in a very hectic league. This league definitely doesn't support it.
That is putting it lightly.
Yeah.
Definitely putting it lightly. But I think we're pretty much at an even state of the game. Coming up to 30 minutes. Both these teams pretty happy with the items they have. Sejuani yet to die has got that Warmogs. We'll see exactly what the next play is. Curious to see exactly where both these sides go. Bot wave pushing in favor of WE, top wave in favor of BLG. Mid lane is the contention.
All right, let's see. Fight's coming through.
Chain of corruption, a lot of damage, but there is the Kiana ultimate, and he blows off Varus. He was done his job. The Rumble ultimate comes down, but there are so many low health bars right now. They're going to be able to get down the ultimate as well. Death round there onto Pose as he just try and go for it. There's your interaction. It does not do anything to the rest of the team, but Mystic is still alive. Mystic can potentially turn this around if he's able to get the time onto this backline. Good flame spitter into the Zhonya's. Mystic trying his best. He can potentially look for something here. He's just going to try and keep kiting it out. He's dodging everything. Will he be able to get one? He gets one, but not another. That was so damn close. Mystic valiantly goes down, but it ends up being the ace in favor of BLG.
The key player was Kuro there. Just behind the terrain, waited for time for Team WE to feel confident about it, to come through. Flashes over the wall to get the play going. If it wasn't for that, Mystic takes over.
That was so close to being a Mystic best play ever. Let's have a look at exactly how this starts.
Because right from the get-go, the fight starts from them. The ultimate was beautiful, as you mentioned, in from xiye. He ends up sacrificing for himself for that one. But if we're just talking about the grand scheme of things, it works out so damn well for Team WE. This was the moment that you start to look towards Kuro, where his current placing is. There is a ward right on top of him, so it's not as if we didn't see him coming. He just recognized that if he flashed over, he'd be able to get the kill on beishang, certainly. And then the damage on top of Mystic is something that he needed to recover from. All right, this is when we just start to enjoy the play.
Happy feet,
wow.
Left, right, just dodging absolutely everything. And almost kills ADD. If he kills ADD, he gets the coup de grace, he gets the extra HP, and he gets the pentakill effectively.
It's plays like that that make you recognize how great Mystic and xiye are as players. We keep harping on it, but the fact that this team is currently in that rut, I mean, if it wasn't for this last split, then you would be seeing them split among split, and outside of the playoff mark and not doing well, because they've been working alongside so many rookies. That's just been the reality. Working alongside, trying to figure out what's the mainstay jungler. They decide on beishang. Post is starting to recognize his place on the team. And all of that while these guys have been patient and really putting in work.
Now the Baron play shall be enough potentially. As I say that though, ADD gonna get hit up with the Enchanted Crystalline Arrow, forced to back away, has no Proto Bolt now, but will back up in 60 seconds, so not a problem.
Got the mid lane wave going here. That's actually should be quite a bit of damage from BLG.
Oh, there's the ultimate combos only onto the Sejuani and the Tahm Kench, so not a huge amount of effort, or sorry, huge amount of benefit from that, but it gives them what they want, which was the mid lane turret.
Yeah, try and chunk them as much as they can, create a wall. Think of it like a Talia ultimate. You're just throwing in that Rumble ulti. Gives them that time to be able to pick up the inhibitor. So resources well spent.
Get what they wanted and back away. They have that turret in the bot side as well, down to about a third of its HP. I love the fact that both these teams are on the same win condition. It's team fight and then take objectives from the team fight. Get the objective that you want, be it a dragon or a baron, and then move from there. It's genuinely fun to watch.
I'm always a fan of, team fighting teams or just team fighting metas. A lot of the times that means you either have to pick a tank or just a lane that is always disinteresting to the audience. In this case, I mean, you get best of both worlds. You got carries topside. That's not an issue at all. And you still have great team fights. And in the end of the day, you look at key members who make an immense amount of difference, where Kuro did that in the last fight. And you see, how xiye and Mystic have been performing. Missing has actually been just doing so well throughout the game, being able to bide time for ADD. And I think Pose has had a lot to deal with. At this stage, I think it's reasonable to expect him to pick up a QSS. You get to these games where, that tax is meaningful. He needs to be able to have his ultimate played across the enemy team, and he's not being given that opportunity.
Looks like he is going towards that Rabadon's death cap, wants the more explosive damage. He doesn't need the QSF if he kills him, which I don't think is ever going to happen.
Not going to happen.
You gave me such a look of just like, God damn it, you gold player.
Yeah. It's just not going to happen. It's like, basically, if it's anybody else, they can survive through the ultimate. xiye being the difference maker, or like the person who wouldn't necessarily. But if I'm just looking straight at towards the Kennen who needs to be in that fight, he's being declined multiple times.
Both Elder Drake and Baron up at almost the exact same time. There's only about a second or two between the two. Waves currently in favor of BLG, and I'll be curious to see what do either side prioritize. You got to feel like both would be fantastic, but they may just go for a trade and not fight. But still, lots of pressure in favor of BLG. They've got that mid lane inhibitor down. Got bot wave pushing up constantly with the Mordekaiser as well.
Yeah, two of the solo lanes, or at least the side lanes, I mean, are coming in and crashing at the exact same time. They could make use of that. That was close. 3
points. Straight through the posts.
There we go. They're just going to be rolling with this one wave. Actually, let's just see what the mid lane wave, they're not utilizing that. Gives WE an opportunity to fight.
Yeah, they're going to try and go for it. There is the Glacial Prison even onto ADD. Doesn't take a lot of harass back. I've got the War Mags there onto Sejuani. Mystic going to be the one to try and clear out this super minion wave. They hold 4 now, but you can see Olaf just hovering.
Yeah, they have to do it on this one. If they don't,
here we go. There's the the huge engage coming in, and it's going to be all BLG. They just get absolutely everything, tear through the side of WE, and that's going to be absolutely everything. A perfect Rumble ultimate, the equalizer to end the game, just caught everybody on surprise. And that's going to be game 1. BLG looking fantastic into this late game.
Yeah, that's what you love to see from BLG at this stage, to be able to make that comeback versus Team WE that had that early game lead. We went through that pause. They recalculated and took this one back.
Mordekaiser looks terrifying. It's in the right hands, it looks terrifying.
That's true. We finally got that good Mordekaiser game. We got a few of them. This one was great.
It was a fantastic Mordekaiser game. Great Rumble game. And overall, I think, BLG, they're going to be pretty damn happy with that. It was a rough early game. They got stuck behind. The Tahm Kench was able to roam, make some decent plays with the kind of double combos of the Glacial Prison as well as the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. And in the end, they were able just to out-team fight. They played the terrain better and were able to funnel WE into where they wanted to be.
Yeah, I love Kuro's ultimates, or at least the positioning that they constantly put Team WE in. Because I think that last fight was a great example with the Inhibitor, obviously just making it a much easier placement to throw that Rumble ultimate, just in between that and the wall itself. You got that throughout the entire game. Red side jungle, he got that. Also, in the last fight, he was able to do that pretty easily. So every Rumble ultimate, you could have a montage if you want to. It counted, and you got to see the gold right bounce in favor of BLG for that reason.
And look, I just look at Mystic's damage there, 28.3k damage, and he tried. He really tried, and he was so close to coming off with possibly one of the greatest AD carry outplays, like that will be montaged forever.
Yeah.
And it was just one or two auto attacks just away, literally that close. I honestly, I'd say one auto attack and he wins that entire thing.
100%. I actually just kind of harkened back to a lot of plays I remember, like it was like OMG with SMLZ versus EDG, like those moments where his Kog'Maw was able to get a full wipe of the enemy team just based off of that like one incredible outplay. So you get to see those moments in the LPL. That one was a potential one, obviously wasn't going to happen.
So close.
Equally good players in the opposite side. And it really does come to those split-second decisions that come through where, you know, it was looking great once they were able to take advantage of the Mordekaiser ultimate, not necessarily getting too much when it's on the Tahm Kench. But after that fight, Mordekaiser says, I'm not getting Tahm Kench anymore until we handily win that fight. From this point forward, Kennen is the man.
And unfortunately, you said Kennen possibly did pick up a needlessly large rod, could have waited to get the 50 gold to get the QSS maybe.
It's hard.
It's a hard decision. It's a very hard decision.
At that stage of the game.
Yep.
At that stage of the game, I think anyone would just say, I'm completing my build. It doesn't. I'm not going for the QSS. We'll play it out. My ultimate's going to do a lot. We'll see what happens. Earlier on in the game, I think you can once again have that conversation of saying, you're doing well in the lane, well enough for that gold lead to, essentially be invested in the QSS so the team fights work a lot better. The feeling a lot of the times whenever you go up like a Malzahar or anybody, it's, yeah, I got the QSS. What about the rest of my team, right?
Yep.
In those cases, at least in those cases, you have a Tahm Kench that can save you out. Who's going to save someone that gets sent to another dimension? That's the broken part about the champion, is that you can't just say, all right, I'll be the Tahm Kench with the QSS. I'll save other people. That's not possible with this champion.
And the thing as well that we kind of noticed, you mentioned it as an interaction, the impact it has from just taking away the slicing Maelstrom out of the fight completely.
Yep.
We saw it, there was just 3-4 people just sitting on top of it, but because he was in the death realm, it meant that nobody was getting affected, and that is the difference sometimes between winning and losing.
Yeah, it's one of those things whenever you have a new champion on the field, new patch come through, we get to finally see Mordekaiser, and maybe we get to see a greater lens put on the champion, whether he's worth an added nerf based off that kit, or what I love to see, greater adaptation on the enemy team to see essentially what you can pick to deal with him, because we already saw in the first series, they just picked bruisers for the lane. The Jax is what unwound the Mordekaiser. He looked completely useless in that game, and so different performances here, and I think that going into Game 2, we'll see something different from Pose if he goes into that same matchup. I mean, at least into the same champion.
Yes, I was going to say into the same champion, into the same matchup, but we'll have to wait and see. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we will bring you Game 2 of BLG versus Team WE.